Welcome back to the Whiskey and Wisdom podcast, everybody. This is your co-host, Tyler Y'all. I am solo again today. Unfortunately, Chris wasn't able to make it with us. However, I am with our special guest today, and he is
Todd with New South Spirits. I'm the head distiller and co-owner here.
Thank you so much for inviting me in and allowing us to take over the bar for a little bit.
No problem at all.
So tell us a little bit about kind of how you got started into the distilling process and a little bit about New South Spirits.
Okay.
We'll start the conversation there, and then we'll branch out.
Okay. Well, my business partner and I have done 4 different businesses together. This is the 4th business.
Okay.
The other 3 were engineering firms, and we sold the last one about 8 years ago.
Okay.
And unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you want to look at it, they wanted us to stay, so we still work there.
Okay.
To this day, we still run the business. However, about 3 years ago, she came to me and she said, "Hey, let's start another business." And I'm like, "Oh, no more engineering. I'm tired of it. I want to do something I've never done before.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully something that's going to be a challenge." And so she said, "Well, what do you want to do?" I said, "I don't know." Well, the next week I went on a distillery tour in Kentucky.
Okay.
And I went to all the usual haunts, the bourbon places, because I'm a bourbon guy, and came back and I said, "Well, let's make liquor." And she said, "You want to make bourbon?" I said, "Absolutely not." Bourbon, in my opinion, there's possibly more bad bourbon on the market than there's good bourbon. Just my opinion.
It's a good argument, yeah.
And it tells me how hard it is to make a good bourbon.
Yeah.
And as a new distiller, I wasn't about to do that. I wanted to stay in my lane. And so rum was about the easiest thing for a beginner to start with, I figured out. And then we added the agave spirits afterwards. And here we are.
That's awesome. So do you think after you kind of get your feet wet a little bit more in the distillation process, you might eventually go into the bourbon world, or you just say, nah, not for me?
No, I'm going to stay in my lane. I'm going to let the guys that do that well do their job well.
That's awesome. Very good. So it is the Whiskey and Wisdom podcast. I had to ask.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Plus we deal with sugars, and that way we don't have to deal with all that grain and all the waste.
True.
Life's a little bit easier when you don't have to shovel all that grain around.
You got that right. So I think the interview portion of this podcast is going to come out before we do the tasting, which is the opposite of what we did today.
Okay.
And I did get a chance to do some of the tastings with you in the back, which I greatly appreciated.
No problem.
Just kind of go through what you kind of started with first, what that experience was like, distilling it for the first time, and how you got brave to go to, is it 11 now?
Yeah, we've got 11 different products.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
in 1 year.
Yeah. Well, we started out with 10. We came right out of the chute with 10 products.
Wow. Okay.
And the one that we added recently was the Reposado.
Right.
Of the agave spirit.
That's probably one of my favorite ones. That was fantastic.
That one surprised me. I experimented with that and took that out of the barrel, tasted it, and kind of did a double take. And I hollered at my business partner, and I think the bartender was here that day. I said, "Guys, get in here." And we all tasted it, and I said, "Is this for real?" And they're like, "Man, this is awesome."
Yeah.
And we didn't have labels.
Oh, really?
We said, "We're going to bottle this right now." So we bottled it. Then we had to work on labels and order the labels because I didn't think it was going to turn out good right off the shoot. But we were very lucky. It's like my dad said, even the blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while,
exactly.
Right? So we just got very fortunate with that. And it's turned out to be one of our top sellers, and I just can't keep it on the shelf.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Some of the other things that you tried in there was one of the items was our agave reaper, which is another agave spirit that's infused with the Carolina Reaper pepper. Now, there's a couple reasons why I did that. Number one, we're very proud of where we're from in South Carolina.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to use South Carolina grown products and kind of showcase them. And the Reaper is a product here in South Carolina that was developed here in Rock Hill, South Carolina, believe it or not.
Oh, wow. Didn't know that.
Yeah. The gentleman that invented it, his farm is actually called Pucker Butt Farms, believe it or not. And he is also the guy that invented Pepper X, which is now taken over as the hottest one over the Reaper.
Wow.
But I did that infusion. The first time I did it, I did way too much. I did a 5-day infusion. I think I cried for about 2 hours and I coughed for maybe 3 hours. It was awful. But I found that 48 hours is my sweet spot.
Okay.
And I don't use dried peppers. I'll use fresh peppers.
Ah, okay.
And so even in the summer, we'll buy them fresh. The ones that we're going to use over the wintertime, we freeze them and then take them out of the freezer and use them. We never use dried peppers for that stuff.
Oh, neat.
So that's turned out really well.
So the first time you did it was probably what most people expect it to be like.
It was exactly.
Yeah.
I'd gone to other distilleries and tried their pepper-infused products. And a lot of them, I hate to say it, but they're more bachelor party drinks.
Yeah.
You're daring each other to take a shot of this.
Right.
So you go out, you buy one bottle, You and your buddies have about half the bottle and you never touch it again, right?
Yeah.
That's not what I want to do. I want to have something people come back and buy again and again.
Right.
We've got a local cardiologist here in Greenville. He comes and buys a bottle about every 2 weeks. That's his
Wow.
evening sipper. He loves it. He just drinks it on ice.
That's awesome.
But it does make a great spicy margarita or Bloody Maria, as I told you before.
Yeah. It is really interesting how you just get the warmth on the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
That was, I was, even you said it, and I was like, yeah, sure. When I tried it, and I was like, oh no, it's exactly what happens.
Yeah, it's a
I was pretty
smooth sipper.
impressed.
I mean, that's what I tell people. Don't be scared of it. It's a smooth sipper. Go ahead and take that shot, take that drink. Don't be afraid. The warmth comes up from the back of your palate, comes up your throat. In about 10 seconds, it just disappears.
Yeah.
It's perfect. You want to go down the list and talk about some of the other products?
Yeah, it's good.
So we'll just go down the list if I can remember the order.
Right.
So the vanilla cream, the vanilla ghost cream is our next product that you tasted. We do 2 creams here. They're both the ghost line of creams. And there's no hidden meaning there. It's just because they're white and we're not that creative.
Yeah.
We're not that creative. We're engineers, so we're not that artistic.
You do have the ghost in the back, though, hanging out with us.
Yeah, we did find that guy, so we stuck him up on the wall. Our creams are extremely popular. We've been very fortunate with those. The vanilla cream is probably it sells more than the peanut butter cup, but even the peanut butter cup sells a lot of. With a peanut butter cup, you get chocolate on the front end, peanut butter on the back end.
Yeah.
The agave mixtos is our other tequila base or agave spirit base. And it is one where I use pure cane sugar in with the agave nectar.
Okay.
2 different ways we make our agaves here. One is 100% Blue Weber. We just use the agave nectar, and that's the only thing it ever touches that.
Yeah.
We use good reverse osmosis water here, and that's it. But for the mixed dose, we use pure cane sugar with the agave nectar. And as I said before, you get a lighter tequila or agave flavor, but you get more product.
Yeah.
So it helps me make more product with a little bit lighter flavor. It's a great introduction to people who really think they don't like tequilas or are kind of afraid of them. And so we get a lot of people coming in and say, oh, I didn't know agave or tequila could taste like this.
Yeah.
And yeah, it can.
I
So
was
that's a
telling-
great intro.
I was telling you back there, too, I'm not much of a tequila guy at all.
Yeah.
But I was very impressed with what you had there. Like, I would definitely be willing to, even that one you were just talking about, like, just step that on the rocks. Like, that's an easy sipper.
It is. And then we've got we start into our rums. We've got our silver rum, which is our base for a lot of other products.
Yep.
I use a Caribbean yeast in that. So you may get notes of banana, some floral notes out of it. Then we've got our spiced rum, which everybody makes a spiced rum.
Yeah.
I kind of say it's kind of like KFC. There's 11 different spices, and it's just figuring out the right mix. That's the only one that we're only a year into this, and I'm only 2 batches into this. I'm still tinkering with that a little bit. The first batch I did, and I'll tell you, I used too much star anise.
Okay.
And star anise gives you that black licorice taste. And it was god awful. Now, we have people that come in here that love black licorice, and they bought the bottles. They're like, this is great. And I'm like, this is horrible. I didn't like it. It's kind of like cilantro. You either like it or you don't.
Right, exactly.
But ours is very citrus forward, and you got to taste that. So you got a lot of orange notes and cinnamon notes and some lemon notes in there. Then our vanilla rum is also extremely popular, and that's steeped on nothing but the vanilla beans that I showed you back there.
That's probably one of my favorites.
It's hard to keep on the shelf.
Yeah.
I'm continuously making batch after batch after batch of that. And being we are a micro distillery. So with us being a small distillery, it takes a lot of effort for us. We're not like the big boys. We don't make hundreds of gallons of a product at a time. As you saw, I'm making 5-gallon batches back there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more work that goes into it. Our pineapple rum is also extremely popular.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say this, if you take the pineapple rum and you mix it with the vanilla cream, it's a pina colada.
Ooh, that does sound really good.
I'll make you one for you later.
That sounds amazing.
If you take our spiced rum and mix it with our vanilla cream, it creates a drink that I call Christmas in your mouth. In fact, we had that cocktail at Christmas and we called it the Angry Elf.
That's very good.
It's just Christmas. That's all you can say. Some of the other products we have our 100% Blue Weber, which is our version of a true tequila or agave spirit, as we call it here in the U.S. And then I use that 100% as the base for the reposado.
Oh, okay.
So that's what makes that. One of the other rums we make is a barrel rested rum.
Mm-hmm.
So I will take that silver rum base and I'll actually put it in a barrel for 4 weeks for the rested, because we can use the term rested.
Right.
We are aging products. I've got a barrel full right now. Our first barrel that we filled up is aging right now. However, that takes 2 years.
Yep.
And we've only been open 1 year. So we still got a little
Do the
ways to
math.
wait. Yeah, do the math. My flux capacitor is broken, so I
Right.
can't speed that up. But even the barrel rested gives it a slight, and I'll say ever so slight bourbon-esque feel
Yeah,
of
it
flavor.
definitely did.
You do get those oaky notes and that charred note in there. And the rum old fashioned is one of our top selling cocktails.
What kind of barrels do you rest them in?
American white oak,
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
made in the Canton Cooperage in Lexington, Kentucky.
Oh, wow.
I'll
Yeah.
give them a plug. They make awesome barrels, and they're good tight barrels. We don't have a problem with leakage, and they just make a very good product.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very good.
I think that's about it, isn't it?
Yeah. I
think
we
that's
went through
all
a lot of
11.
them.
Oh, no.
I think we hit them.
Yeah.
So going from engineer
Mhm.
to now doing the distillation process, there is a little bit of artistry in that. So is that something that you enjoyed kind of going over? Because in my experience, a lot of the engineers I've met, they lack in the artistry area. So is that something that was hard for you, or did you need a artistic outlet because you'd been in the engineering space so long?
Well, I am not and do not pretend to be any kind of artist. Let's get that straight. But distillation, it is an art, but it's a science as well.
True. Yeah.
And that's kind of how I approached it from the science aspect.
Right.
And by doing that, okay, so I had to learn about the proper pHs, the proper mixtures, the proper time dwell on temperature and how the temperature affects profile and all those hundreds of things that you've got to figure out. But when it came to flavors, that's where you get a little creative.
Right.
And so that allowed me to have a little bit of a creative outlet,
Oh, that's neat.
which is kind of new for me.
Right. So is that something that you enjoyed, kind of like dabbling in
Absolutely.
that? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This has been, I will say this, I've been doing engineering work for 26, 7, I don't know how many years, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
Really?
It is. I'm telling you, the service industry as a whole,
Oh, yeah.
I never appreciated the amount of work that anyone in the service industry really puts into it until I've had to do it.
Right.
And it's like I say, I was a good tipper before, but now I'm a
Right.
good tipper. Yeah, because I know how hard these folks work, and they work their
Yeah.
tails off.
And the bar area that you have here is beautiful too.
Yeah.
How'd you find the location?
Well, we looked around, and we really had a hard time finding a location. We did find this in downtown Greenville. This was the old Cotton Alliance warehouse. So
Oh,
this
okay.
building was built in the 1800s for all the local cotton farmers to store their cotton before it went to market.
Okay.
And so we were actually in the basement of that building, as you can see.
Right.
So all these bricks are original. There's not a level spot on this floor. These bricks, they will crumble if you try to hang anything in the walls, but they do have a lot of character, and there's a lot of
Sure.
history here. And it's been a good location. Foot traffic, something we have to kind of pull off the main street.
Right.
And we work very hard to do that. But now that we've been here a little while, word's starting to get out, and we're
Yeah.
getting, our regulars come in on a regular basis. And Greenville is a tourist town.
Right.
So we get a lot of tourists here. But we put a lot of ourselves in this. We built the bar ourselves,
Oh, wow.
did all the tables ourselves, burned all the images, logos. My business partner, you'll see paintings in here. She does all the paintings. Any of the wood products, I do them in my workshop. So we put a lot of ourselves into here as well.
That's neat.
Yeah.
So not too often do I hear about a new distillery that's coming right out of the gate with 10 products.
Yeah.
So was that by design originally, or did you just get going and you know what, I can make this now, or I can make that one? Or is that just the beauty of having small batches?
Well, it is the beauty of having small batches. Ideally, I wanted to come out with maybe 5 products.
Okay. Yeah.
And my business partner, Lisa, she pushed me. She said, no, we need more than 5. We need more than 5. And so we started with 10.
Right.
And it's been a good mix. It's actually been good for us because it allowed us to have enough variety that no matter what your taste profile is when you come in here, you're going to find something you like.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other places you'll go and you're like, well, I'm a whatever drinker. And then you end up just drinking something that's typical off the shelf that you almost feel forced to carry back there.
Yep.
And you're right. You do kind of have a little bit of everything for everyone here. And that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I get a lot of people that come in and when they come to a distillery, they expect whiskey or bourbon, right? And I go, oh, you don't make whiskey? You don't make bourbon? No, sir, we don't. But let's try this barrel rested.
Right.
Let's try this reposado. And they taste it and they go, oh, this is pretty good. I didn't realize. There you go. So yeah, it does open that door.
Right.
And with the agaves, Agave is a rising spirit here in the U.S., and we get a lot of interest in that from not only our locals, but also folks from overseas.
Oh, okay.
And we've had people come in here from all walks of life, and they've liked what they've got. And I'm very proud of that. And I'm very thankful for that, because I don't pretend to know what I'm doing at all.
It's working out, so that's always good.
We'll see.
With the agave spirits, we talked about this a little bit in the back too. What made you want to venture into that? Because I know that's not an easy thing to accomplish.
Well, two things. As I said, it's a rising spirit.
Yeah.
And so that's why I wanted to get into it. The other thing that allowed me to get into it was ignorance, because I was not a tequila guy before. And I didn't realize how hard it is to make tequila or agave spirit. I keep having to say that.
Yeah.
It is very, very difficult. The fermentations for agave are temperamental. Rum, it's just happy to be at the party. It does its thing. It converts. It does everything. It's great. But the agave fermentations are very difficult to manage. You have to stay on top of them. pH is super, super critical to stay within a very small window on that fermentation. And had I known how difficult it is, I may not have done it. But I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's temperamental.
So I'm going to back up a second. When you first started in getting involved and you knew you were going to do the 10 different products, was agave on the front line of it too, or did that kind of come in? Okay.
Yeah, we opened up with rum and agave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we opened up with that.
Nice.
Because I wanted to have a variety. Rum, the reason rum was our primary outlet. Okay.
Right.
And the reason I chose rum is because rum is one of those open palate alcohols, right? Spirits. With bourbons and whiskeys, there's some hard, fast rules.
Yeah.
You have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. With rum, yeah, you have to do it a certain way, but it's more of an open book. And rum is more of an open palate to different flavor profiles.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm experimenting with some other flavor profiles now, and if they turn out well, then those will be the new products we introduce later on.
Right.
But rum is a very, how can I say it? It's a very good base to build on.
Okay.
Because you can do a lot of different things with it.
Right.
Yeah.
When you're looking in the future, I know you're not going to go into the bourbon route, but are you also thinking about vodka and gin, or are you staying pretty close to the agaves and rum?
For right now, agaves and rums, we may do some brandies.
Okay.
Later on.
Yeah.
Because we do, with our stills, they are hybrid stills. So we can run them as a pot or as a column still.
Right.
But I do a lot of pot still distillation here.
Okay.
And that lends itself more toward the brandies and things of that nature. I would love to do a gin, but vodka, believe it or not, vodka is very hard to make.
Okay. Yeah.
And because of the stills that I've got, there's only 4 plates on those stills.
That's right. Yeah.
So I'd have to run that product over and over and over.
That's
and
right. Yeah.
there becomes a, how much you put in it versus what you get out of it factor, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, because for that gin, you've got to start with a vodka. It doesn't really make a lot of sense financially for me to do that right now.
Right. That makes sense.
And right now, everything that we sell, we produce right here. We don't buy our spirits. We distill and bottle in-house.
Yeah.
And that's very important for us right now.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So keep wanting to go in 2 different directions. When you're looking at your lineup right now, what's the product that you're most proud of? And what's the product that you enjoy the most?
That's a good question. I guess the product I'm most proud of right now is our Reposado, because it surprised me.
Right.
I did not expect it to turn out the way it did. So I'm probably most proud of that. I enjoy them all. It's hard to pick a favorite.
Right.
I mean, really, the vanilla rum is delicious. The vanilla cream is delicious.
Right.
And I'm telling you, probably maybe the vanilla cream for me, because you put that in a cold brew coffee and it's just,
that's smart.
It will change your world.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome.
It does sound really good, actually.
Yeah.
I might have to pick that up and try that later.
Yeah. Put it in your cold brew coffee, put it in your pancakes.
Oh, okay.
Make your pancake mix like you normally do.
Yeah.
Take a shot of that vanilla cream, put it in that batter that's just about ready to be poured out.
Yeah.
Stir it up. The alcohol is going to cook out.
Right.
But all that great vanilla flavor comes through and it'll make your pancakes fluffier because of the cream in it.
Oh, no way.
It's delicious.
That's smart. I'm going to have to try that out too. There's always a lot more that you can do with those creams than I ever imagined.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Makes it a lot of fun.
That wasn't my idea. I actually stole that from Buffalo Trace.
Okay,
Because if you go on a tour there, that's what they tell you to do. And I tried it at home, and they're not kidding. And that flavor really comes through.
That's neat. Have you done any, I know everything here is small batch anyway, but have you done any like limited edition runs, or is that something you plan on doing?
We will do that some. Right now, we're not, because I'm still experimenting with some of that.
Right.
The only problem for a small distillery like us is labeling.
Okay.
Because labels cost so much when you
Right.
buy them in the quantities we do. We don't buy 20,000 labels at a time like
Yeah.
the big boys. We'll buy like 3,000 or 4,000 labels at a time. And when you want to come out with special editions, well, you got to get the label, and the label's got to be approved by the TTB. So there's a whole process there. So maybe after some time, when we get some more time under our belt and have more, hopefully, money and not be so new,
Right.
we'll be able to do those kind of things, because I'd love to do those kind of things.
That's neat.
Yeah.
So since you are a North Carolina podcast,
Yeah.
do you sell in North Carolina yet?
Not yet, but we're hopefully on our way soon.
Okay.
We just started distribution here in South Carolina about 3 months ago,
Oh, okay.
and we're expanding all the time. In fact, we've got a meeting later on today with another distributor that will give us pretty much the whole state, if we can seal
Oh,
that
okay.
deal. And once we have South Carolina, then absolutely, we definitely want to expand North Carolina and Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we want to keep it
Awesome.
right here where we're from,
Exactly.
in the Southeast.
Yeah. Exactly. Kind of lock it in, and that's kind of the premise behind the small batch anyway, right?
Yeah,
It's
that's
kind
right. I mean, we're proud of where we're from. We're proud of this region of the country. And you just can't find nicer people than you have here in the Carolinas.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that. I'm from Pennsylvania, moved down here and never left.
Yeah.
So,
That's awesome.
so where did the name New South Spirit come from?
Well, that's a story in and of itself. When we first did our marketing campaign, we were going to be called something totally different.
Okay.
And we were going to be called Bad Decisions.
Yep.
And then our lawyer advised us it might be a bad decision to have an alcohol company named Bad Decisions. So he said,
Fair
great.
enough.
Right? So in the 11th hour, we had to change all of our marketing. And so we locked ourselves in a room and finally came up with New South Spirits. But in the midst of that, we were throwing ideas on the board and trying to figure it out. And it was just, it was chaos. And I said, this is nothing but chaos. So I said, okay. So I wrote the word chaos up on the board. And that later developed into our tagline, embrace your inner chaos.
Ah, okay.
Right. And that's why we have the tornado or
Right.
hurricane on our images, because what signifies chaos more than a hurricane or a tornado?
Exactly.
And so that's kind of where that came from.
That's really smart. It makes sense.
I don't know about smart, but it's what we got.
It came out from it. When you're looking through the next 2, 3, 5 years,
Mhm.
where do you hope the brand's at that point? And what's something that you're looking forward to accomplish in that time frame?
I would hope that the brand would grow and be recognized regionally,
Mhm.
and really just be a brand that people can trust. People know, hey, this is a quality product.
Yeah.
This is a product that is consistent, and I can trust it to be what it says it is. And that's basically it. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not looking to go, or I'm not looking to go nationally or anything like that. Lisa wants to build this, spirit empire,
Right.
because she's the business mind behind everything. So she's always looking for things like that. For me, I just want us to have a good quality product that people enjoy.
Yeah.
And that's, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Exactly. And people, especially in here, because it's a nice place to kind of hang out and be able to actually watch the facial expressions when they try it for the first time and
That's
everything.
the best part of it. That's the best
really
part of it. I enjoy that more than anything.
That's awesome. So do you plan on getting a few more stills back there then as you grow, or do you kind of like where it's at right now?
No, as we grow, we'll grow the production area as the demand,
Right.
grows. We've got some space in here. We can add some more fermenters.
Okay.
Right now, we only distill 2 days a week.
Okay.
So we've got 5 open days
Yep.
that we could distill on. So the stills, we've got plenty of production in that, production volume waiting to be used.
Right.
The fermenters would be our only limitation, and we've got plenty of room to add more fermenters.
Awesome.
So we can triple, we can quadruple what we do pretty easily.
Yeah. So other than the name, what was one of the largest struggles to getting opened?
The regulatory requirements here in
yeah.
downtown Greenville, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yep.
Greenville's a lovely place, but man, the red tape,
Oh yeah.
there's a lot of it.
North Carolina in general is
Yeah.
like that when it comes to spirits and just the ABC and everything up there.
Yeah, it's all different by region. It's all different by state. It's all different by municipality also.
Right.
When we first started here, when we looked at the downtown Greenville, it was not legal to distill in downtown Greenville.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so we found this place, and we also found out that they were having a meeting to discuss whether they would abolish that law and allow distillation to occur in downtown. And believe it or not, they did.
Yeah.
They said, okay, we're going to take that off the books. And it was like 2 days later, we filed for the lease for this place.
That's awesome.
So had they kept it on the books, we'd be somewhere else
Yeah.
right now.
So what, does that mean you're actually the first distiller in downtown?
There was a distiller here that sold, but they did not distill in downtown Greenville.
Okay.
They had a store. So they had a presence here, and they no longer have that presence here. We are the first distillery to actually make products in the city of Greenville.
Oh, that's neat.
There's another distillery not far from us.
Right.
They are not in the city limits proper.
Yeah.
They're in a different area of the city, and they make a wonderful product right down the road from us.
Yeah.
But we're the first ones to be in downtown Greenville.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice claim to fame there. So since my co-host isn't here, I'll ask one of his last questions that he usually asks. And that is, how would you define success? So that's either for the business or for yourself.
That's a tough question. Everybody defines success differently.
Right.
Some people will quantify that with money.
Mm-hmm.
Some people quantify that with fame. Some people quantify that with whatever. For me personally, I just want to be able to do something that I enjoy.
Yeah.
And something I'm proud of. And my business partner would probably be upset with me for saying this, but I don't care about the money.
Mm-hmm.
That's not why I do the things that I do.
Right.
I just kind of do it for me. I mean, I took this as a personal challenge, and it was something I'd never done before. It was something I never really thought I'd ever do.
Right.
But here we are.
That's
And
neat.
so success for me would be establishing a business that can continue on and just provide something that people enjoy.
Yeah. And outside of the spirits by themselves,
Mhm.
you have a pretty nice cocktail menu as well.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about how that was created and like some of the inspirations behind that?
Well, our cocktail menu is mainly created by my business partner's daughter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Lisa's daughter is Reagan. She is our young person that injects that youth into it because, we're just old folks. And so about every other month, she comes up with a whole new list of cocktails.
Oh, wow.
And we put them on the menu. And the ones that are the most popular, they get to stay. And the others, they go on rotation.
Oh, okay.
And so every couple months, we're coming up with a new specials menu.
Nice.
And we just rotate through and try to see what people like, and the stuff that people like, we keep it on.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
does she come in here as a mad scientist and like mixing
She
around and
does.
everything?
She'll come in here at least once or twice a month and get behind the bar. And, there'll be people in here, and she'll be off in a corner just doing her little experiment. She'll go, "Hey, Todd, come here. Taste this." And I'll taste it. I'll go, "Oh, that's great." Or I'll go, "Ooh, I don't like that," or
Right.
whatever. And then we'll let some customers taste, and stuff like that. And what they like, we put on the menu.
That's really neat.
We try to do it for, it's not about me. It's about what the customers want.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there a cocktail that sticks out the most recently that customers tend to gravitate to?
The Sweetheart.
Okay.
The Sweetheart, we make it with watermelon juice and strawberries.
Oh, that sounds really good.
It is delicious. If you like a sweeter drink, it is delicious. If you like a more traditional, our rum old fashioned is an
Mhm.
extremely great cocktail. And the Smoky Oaxacan is a tequila version of an old fashioned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we actually smoke the glass with that. And
Yeah.
we use chocolate bitters and stuff like that. And it's delicious.
That's neat.
Yeah.
You said Reagan, right?
Yeah, Reagan.
Does she have a background in the service industry, or is it just something that she thought was really neat?
Reagan likes to drink sometimes,
Right.
like most young people do.
Exactly.
But no, she is a college graduate that she has a full-time job. She does her thing. And she's a wonderful kid. I've known her since she was little, and she's nice enough to come in here and help her mom and dad and help me, in the bar every once in a while.
That's awesome. That's
So
always
just
good.
a good person. Yeah.
Keeping it in the family and keeping it close.
Yeah.
I like it. That's neat. I'm glad that she likes to come in and enjoys making and doing the artistic stuff behind it and everything like that
does.
too. That's neat.
Yeah.
And we are coming up on a little over a half hour now. So I'll ask one of my last questions and then we'll go into another question after that. But since we looked forward with how you define success,
Mhm.
kind of looking back a little bit, If you were to tell your younger self one thing, what would it be?
Pick something you really enjoy.
Yeah.
That's always the thing. When you get out of school or when you get out of college, you've got to go make some money. You have to.
Right.
But if you can ever figure out what it is you really like and what you're passionate about, it truly is, like the saying goes, you'll never work. It's a true statement, because if
Yeah.
you really enjoy it, you'll enjoy it.
Right.
And that's the only advice I would give my younger self, is find that passion and go after it.
That's
And do that. And don't worry about the money. The money comes.
right.
The money will come in the future. Don't worry about that. You don't need all these things you really think you need sometimes.
Sure.
That's it.
Yeah. And you've created a few other businesses in the past.
Mhm.
How do those differ from the business that you're in now and creating spirits, other than being like obviously like engineering to
Mhm.
what this is? But what were some of the pros and cons to both, and what just made them really different from each other?
Well, with the engineering, we do a lot of product testing and development for
Right.
automotive, aerospace, and medical.
Okay.
So you name it, we pretty much tested it.
Right.
We do a lot of, for example, airbag testing,
Okay.
and airbag deployment systems testing, seat belts. We've done testing for knee implants. We've done testing for hernia implants. I mean, you name it. And the thing with that is, you have to use your engineering skills to develop these tests.
Okay.
Now, a lot of tests, they have nice specifications written. You just follow the specification. That's great.
Right.
But even with specifications, you might not have a piece of equipment that does it, and you have to build that equipment. So
yeah.
that's part of what I've done for years. I design and build the equipment to do the test. And it was kind of the same here. Great example is the controls for our stills. So the stills that we bought actually came with a controller that controls. It's just a big rheostat. It controls the amount of energy you put into the heating element, because we have electric stills.
Right.
Well, I don't care about that. What I care about is the temperature at the head of that still. And so they didn't sell a PID control. Now, you can go online. They'll show you how to do it. It's a pretty simple system for anybody who wants to do it at home.
Yeah.
But I built our PID controllers, so now I can control what temperature. I set what temperature I want. I can actually set the profile of it,
Oh wow.
and it'll ramp up to that temperature, and then you control your dwell time, and that helps you control your flavor profile. I've thought about fully automating it, but you know what? You got to have a little artwork in it too.
Right.
You got to kind of manipulate it by hand, and it's like I've got a distillery associate now that helps out, and I'm teaching him, don't worry so much about what you see on the display.
Mhm.
Watch what's coming out of the still. Watch
Yeah.
what's coming out of the parrot. Look at your proof, look at your flow. And those two data points in your mind will tell you how do you need to adjust that temperature.
That's
So
good.
there's a bit of an artwork to it,
Right.
There's
a distillery up in North Carolina near Jacksonville,
Mhm.
and they originally started as moonshiners,
Mm-hmm.
and this old, like illegal moonshine back in the day and everything. And they eventually brought it to the 21st century, kind of, and made it more legal and whatnot, and started getting into bourbons. But it was very similar to that too, is when I was going through that tour, they said the exact same thing. They're like, hey, we could automate a lot of this. We could do a lot of things that we could kind of bring it in to like even more the 21st century than it is now. But there's something about like sticking to the heritage
Mm-hmm.
of like the old time distillation process and just like doing it the old fashioned way, right? Like, and they said it's a labor of love there, and they do it on purpose.
I mean, the big boys, you look at somebody like Buffalo Trace,
Right.
okay? Well, they're running continuously 24/7.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've seen their new line that they put in
Not
a
yet,
few years
no.
ago. It's awesome. It's all controlled, big control room, and they
Right.
put their programs in, and they're taking their cuts at the different heights, and it's just
Yeah.
it's amazing, but it's industrialized.
Right.
I'm not saying anything bad about their product. Love their products,
Right.
but when you do stuff like that, you lose a bit of that human touch to it,
Yeah.
and a little bit of that variability. Having a consistent product's important,
Yeah.
but a little bit of variation is not necessarily a bad thing.
Exactly. That's what's funny, because I know you mentioned End of Days, which is right down the road actually for where we
They're awesome.
record.
Yeah.
And that's how everything is. Like every single batch that comes out, like there's a
Mhm.
little bit different in
Mhm.
every single one of them. And that's something that I enjoy.
Yeah, I had somebody the other day pull up two of my vanilla bottles, and one was darker than the other.
Oh yeah.
And he said, "Hey, why is this one darker?" I said, "Because I use real vanilla beans."
Right.
He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, it's the same number of beans, same grade A Madagascar beans, split, same amount of time, stir them once a day, but they're a natural product. There's variation.
Exactly. Yeah.
And some batches are darker than other batches. And that's just part of using natural products. I
That's
mean, if
neat.
you use artificial stuff, then you can get it perfect every time, right?
That's true.
That's not what we want to do.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of where a lot of the world, I feel like, is going right now too. So they want to associate themselves with a brand. They want to associate themselves with a story.
Mhm.
And that's what's fun about going to these like micro distilleries
Mhm.
and the new places that open up too, because they all have a story that builds the brand. And then there's something a little bit different about what they do as opposed to the person down the road a little
Right.
bit. And that's what makes it fun. And,
Oh, yeah.
and that's kind of where the podcast came from too.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Everybody that I met in the distilling industry has been great. In South Carolina, we have a distillers guild
Oh, okay.
that we lobby for things at the state house and different laws. And every representative from the different distilleries that is in it, wonderful. I mean,
Yeah.
distillers, coming from an engineering world, we keep our secrets very tight.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. But it seems with the distillers, they'll give you the shirt off their back. There's only
Right.
one thing they won't share. We don't share our type of yeast that we use, the yeast strain.
Right.
We don't share that. But anything else you want to know, we'll tell you whatever you want to know. And it's been refreshing. It's been really cool to get involved in something like that.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure going from the engineering world where it is so
Oh, yeah.
tight, then just going where people want to help you and
Mhm.
everything too. There's a lot of breweries up in Wilmington,
Mm-hmm.
and I've known quite a few of them that know each other really well, and they'll be like, "Oh, shoot, like I just ran out of whatever,"
yeah.
and they're like, "Oh yeah, here you go, just like get me back on the next one."
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like super easy.
Distillery down the road, Swamp Fox
Oh, okay.
Distilling in Pendleton, South Carolina. Good friend of mine, Ernie Wagner, and his wife Peg on it.
Yeah.
And I've run out of yeast nutrient before, and I've got, crap, I can't get it quick enough.
Right.
Can I get some? He said, yeah, come on, get you a couple scoops or whatever you need to get you
Right.
by. Everybody in this industry has just been great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Since we are coming up on 40 minutes now, is there anything that you want to shout out or let people know where they can find you?
Just come see us in downtown Greenville, South Carolina, New South Spirits, www.newsouthspirits.com. You can also order, there are 6 of our products that are in distribution,
Oh, okay.
and you can order those through our website if you want to try them. But come on down to Greenville and come see us and give us a try in person.
Yeah, and from Wilmington, it's a little bit of a long trip, but it's not a bad trip. It
Not a
was
bad trip at all.
pretty easy to get down here.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
See you on the next one. Cheers.